Hello, everybody. This is the Initiative Project Podcast. We are brought to you live on Sunday at 9 o'clock in the morning.
This is not live.
This is live. Every time these are live. It's live for me right now. But
TJ, do you know that you are one lucky guy? You get to see, full on me at 8:30 a.m. on a Sunday morning.
It's fantastic.
Yes, like rolling out of bed.
Yeah, it's always
it's
a
really
sight
special.
to behold. Yes.
Right. It's special.
Yeah, so usually we start off every podcast is how your week's been going. So, Kelly, how are you doing this week? It hasn't rained that much this week, so that's good.
Yeah, no. I've had a great week. The kiddos doing well, starting back to school, so I certainly can't complain. And yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with the weather. It's not been too hot, not too chilly.
Yeah, it's like on that verge, but the only bad thing is like you sneeze all the time.
Do you have allergies?
I don't know. No.
They say ragweed this season is supposed to be like off the charts bad. So if you have an allergy to ragweed, I'm sorry.
Yeah, if I trim my nose hairs, I sneeze.
Nice.
Other than that, I don't think I sneeze too much. But
how are you, TJ?
my week's been going pretty good. I got those orthotics we were just talking about a moment ago, and they hurt my feet. So, Dr. Scholes, you suck.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I'm sending
half
back.
A chance.
No. If I run and I'm like not even at a mile and my feet are burning, I'm not wearing them.
But you did say though that your shoes are crappy, right?
Yeah. My running shoes are fine. The daily shoes are fine. It's just the one day I wore crappy shoes and it was just terrible. So
it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, so speaking of shoes, that's obviously fitness performance. We're actually going to be talking about fitness tech. So that's kind of like Apple Watches, smartwatches, Fitbits, all that kind of stuff. And do they really keep you on track? Do they kind of motivate you to stay in the zone? So Kelly, do you use any fitness tech while in the every day or during like your training sessions?
So I used to be like a huge Fitbit user, and I've also used when I was training for triathlons. I used the Garmin. You could use it in the pool.
Yeah, because aren't those like GPS located?
Yes,
yeah,
I could use it on my runs, on the bike ride. Now I just use an Android app on my phone.
Okay.
And it tracks my steps. We'll probably get into this in a little bit when we talk a little maybe about pros and cons of the fitness trackers, but
sure.
I kind of had to back off of my use of fitness trackers a little bit. So, but I do have, like I said, this app on my phone, which honestly I don't love just because for me it's a little bit triggering. I don't carry my phone with me all day. And so it's not accurately tracking my steps, and that bothers me.
Obviously, if you're not carrying it around all day, that wouldn't make sense.
Right. It bothers me. So it'll tell me that I only got 5,000 steps, and I'll be like, no, damn it. I know that I got way more than that. And it bothers me.
Well, then you just get an Android smartwatch.
No.
Problem solved.
No.
What do I use currently? I just use the Apple Watch, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, because it has the heart rate monitoring, it has the calorie, like how many calories you burn during exercise, and you can actually set it up to so it's like swim workout, running. If you're doing an actual lifting workout, you just put other and it tracks that.
Right.
I don't know how accurate it is, especially for those type of things, but I mean for the most part, it does pretty good job. And it's just a matter of the main reason I use it is to get points so I can get money off stuff.
What?
Through our work app. It's called Attain. So if you hit your calories every day, you get points at the end of the week, and then you get money to go buy stuff. So basically Johanna Starbucks is through that. So I don't have to spend $400 a month on Starbucks.
I think that's really cool. I don't know about I think it would be cool if they did it based on a step goal or a movement goal, maybe versus a calorie thing. But
yeah, I think it's just, I don't know.
I think that's really cool though, because it can be super motivating to, I know that there's some apps now and some contests where if you lose your a certain amount of a goal weight, you can make money and stuff.
Yeah.
Which really motivating.
I think you bet.
Right.
So it's I bet $100 that I'll lose this much weight by this date, and then they pay you that or something more. But I mean, I looked into it. I'm like, I don't want to give them money because if I fail, I don't want to lose money.
Well, see, that's the
dumb.
whole skin in the game thing.
Yeah, no.
This is why I find that people who are willing to pay for like a personal trainer, because you know what people say, oh, it's so expensive. And it's like, well, you know, sometimes when you're willing to have skin in the game, you're a lot more motivated to actually get it done and do the effing work.
Yeah, I agree with that. I am the cheapest personal trainer in the world, though. So
everybody go see TJ.
Yeah, I'm dirt cheap, and that's it.
Do you think, like, back to the fitness tracker thing? Do you think that your fitness tracker is tracking your calories accurately?
As far as calories burned,
yeah, I guess
I would say. Yeah, because it only tracks your activity calories. It doesn't track everything.
Okay.
So your BMR is not taken into account. So let's just say, I'll just give you an example. So I did my 2-mile run this morning at like 7:30 roughly until now. Currently, I'm at 361 calories. So I think that's pretty close.
Yes,
to
for a guy your size, that's probably pretty accurate.
Probably close, just from moving around. Because obviously you're moving around, still tracking stuff. But from just the run, I think it was like 250 calories roughly. So I'm like, that's pretty close. I mean, not that it has to be spot on, but I mean, at least give me a ballpark.
That's the one thing that I don't like about my Android app is that.
So you have OCD is what you're telling us?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I do. I have like an obsessive compulsive sort of issue. But my tracker, I think it does calculate BMR. And for those of you who don't know, that's basal metabolic rate, which is basically the rate at which your body burns calories while you are at rest. So like if you did nothing all day. But then what it calculates on top of my BMR is like, even if I get like 15,000 or 20,000 steps per day, it says that I'd only need like 1,800 calories. And, you know, and to me, that seems really low. And I'm like, what is this thing trying to do? Is it trying to like calculate weight loss calories for me? Or is it actually, because there's just if I eat 1,800 calories and I'm walking 20,000 steps per day, I'm losing weight.
Right. Maybe I wonder if they're using the BMR with your body weight. Like, oh, you're in the unhealthy range, so that you need to eat that much.
I don't know, but
so
I
maybe
can
it's
tell
just
you one thing.
Auto-calculated.
It really bothers me to see that number. I only burned 1,800 calories today. That means I can only eat 1,800 calories. It bothers me, and this is why I don't track very much.
It takes everything into account. So yours takes BMR and your activity rate.
I think so, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So to me, that's just insane, because for me to maintain my weight, if I'm being really active, I'm probably eating 2,200 to 2,500 calories per day.
Sure.
And I try not to track again, because I've had, so many issues in the past with, with disordered eating patterns and stuff. But I know, because I have so much experience with calorie counting, I know how many calories roughly I'm eating in a day. And to maintain my current weight is probably around 2,500. And I'm a pretty active person. So,
right.
So yeah, no, it's just, but it's like that, to see it on the app is just in my mind. It's bothersome. So I struggle with that. Right.
Well, that makes sense. So we're going to kind of cover some of the fitness apps, not really in depth, because I'm not going to go out and buy a Pendleton bike that's $3,000 and tell you how it works. Unless Pendleton.
Are you talking Peloton?
Peloton, whatever.
You got to say it right, man. Peloton.
Fine. Peloton bikes, $3,000. I'm not going to spend money to review those.
One of my friends was just asking me about the Peloton bike, and she was like, "Do you think it's a worthwhile expense?" Because she's putting together a home gym. And I was like,
no.
I was like, no. I was like, you know what? I'm like, here's what I do. I bought a Soul spin bike.
Yeah.
It's in my studio, and it was, to me, it was an expensive bike. It was probably about $800 when I bought it. Mm-hmm. I use free YouTube videos. I set up my computer right in front of my bike, and I use free YouTube videos.
Well, now you can literally buy a smart TV for like $200, mount it on your wall, put your bike in front of it, and go.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they're cool. I've watched the
are.
reviews and I've watched people use them. Like, those are sweet.
They
but
are.
$3,000 is like a car.
But right, and when you look at like everybody is motivated to exercise with the initial excitement of getting like one of these trackers or a bike like that, or a treadmill.
Well, because they think it's going to be, this is going to be the thing that makes me
It's
skinny
new.
or whatever.
But then what ends up happening to your treadmill or your bike? It becomes like a very expensive clothes hanger. So consider that, you might not always be as excited to use it. And it's like, you can get away with a piece of equipment that's not that expensive.
Right.
And, get the same value out of it.
Well, I actually priced out a home gym. So, just
cool.
From Rogue to see how much it would cost. This is not in the notes, so you know. But it was, so I got a weight rack, weights, I think a kettlebell or something. I got a bunch of stuff. I got a rower or those assault bikes that I'm like, I really want those. It's like $800. But all in all, it was about $7,000 for an entire home gym.
So this would be for you personally or for somebody else?
No, for me. Like because we're looking for a house, if I can put it in the garage or in the basement, that's kind of what I'm like, if I can get like $7,000 and Johanna lets me do that, please. Then that's what it would be about. But I mean, but $3,000 for a bike when you can get halfway there and you're almost at a full entire gym, you can do just about everything. That doesn't make any sense to me, but they're nice. I mean, they look cool. They motivate you, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, the commercials are inspiring. So
they are.
How do you say it again?
Peloton.
So if Peloton wants to give me a $3,000 bike,
to test.
Yeah, to test and use and to advertise, we will use it. But until that day comes, not going to happen.
Right.
All right. So like I said, 10,000 foot view. So we have like a common wristwatch type, which I have. Have you used one?
So I mean, I have the Garmin, which I used when I was training for triathlons,
right.
which was a wrist based, and it also was a heart rate tracker. And then I loved when I was wearing the Fitbit, which I was wearing the standard
the first one that came out.
Yep. I loved that thing, and I found it very motivating as far as like getting my steps every day. Like I said, I just have that tendency. I have a personal tendency towards being a little obsessive about things.
Sure, you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't hit 700 or 1,000 calories today. I need to go do that.
Even steps. When I didn't hit my 10,000 step goal, I would be really upset. I'm walking around my house in the evenings trying to get my 10,000 steps.
That's ridiculous.
Yes, it is ridiculous.
Unless you're playing like Pokemon Go and you're like hatching an egg. And Johanna will attest to this. I actually did that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so close. And I would like walk around the house.
Right.
And my apartment's not that big, mind you, trying to get this one done. So,
But I mean, it's borderline, can cause, in certain people, it can cause borderline obsessive behaviors.
Oh, I would say so, yeah.
So.
I mean, especially if you're trying to get a whole $2.50 every week from your Attain app.
Well, hey,
I will take it.
Actually getting something out of it, I mean, hey,
it's money,
that's kind of cool,
right? It's free money, and then I don't have to spend $7 on a caramel macchiato or whatever they're called. So I get the rich. So I have never used. Well, let me rephrase this. I've only used the wristwatch types, and you said you use the ones that go around the chest. Do you like those at all? I just feel like my boobs would get in the way. So,
believe me,
it'd be like sweaty.
I've spent, they're actually not that uncomfortable. They look like they'd be uncomfortable. They look awful. Once you figure out how to get it on yourself, they don't tend to move. So I did use one for my triathlon training, and I found it very useful because what I was doing, especially initially in my training, is I was going too fast. Like especially
you were
with
pacing
running.
yourself?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And I found that my heart rate would be elevated for way longer than it should be during my running. And so I was able to use that fitness or that heart rate monitor to keep myself in the correct zone so that I wouldn't end up overtraining.
Do you remember how many beats that was?
For me, it ended up being about between 140 and 145.
That's
and
hilarious.
There was a mathematical. What? Why is that hilarious?
Because I was listening to a podcast, or not a podcast, a book that this guy did, David Goggins, and his SEAL commander for this race. He said, "Yeah, you got to stay between 140 and 145, and you're solid."
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I never knew that.
Yeah. Unless you're specifically doing interval training and you know what you're doing with interval training, your heart rate actually doesn't need to be as high as most people think.
Sure.
And most people who aren't using a heart rate monitor are probably overdoing it. So
that makes sense, right?
It does.
Well, yeah, if you can't monitor yourself and you're pushing it too far, it's just going to impede your performance, especially if you're doing triathlons. You have to do like 500 miles or something.
Right. You have to be really careful. If you're not necessarily training for something specific, I don't think there's really a reason to wear a heart rate monitor.
Sure.
But when you start training for something and you're putting in a lot of miles, I think it can become an important measure to help you make sure you're staying within where, so you don't hurt yourself, basically.
Well, yeah, it's a comfortable zone to where you can keep going, but you're not going to snap your shit.
Right. And I would say that the chest strap monitors, they are far more accurate. Now, the wrist ones are getting better and better.
Well, yeah. I mean, you look at the technology, like you said, the Fitbit, the old one, it literally just said, oh, you've done this many calories. And now it has your emails, your text messages, the time. On mine, it has so much information on here. It says, okay, I've stood 4 times. Every hour you got to stand for 5 minutes or something like that. So out of today, I've stood 4 times for 5 minutes. How many minutes my activity was, how many calories. You swipe over. Oh, yeah. Oh, you want to do this? Oh, here's your heart rate. Oh, my heart rate was whatever.
Well, I'm talking about specifically the heart rate. A few years back, the wrist monitors for heart rate weren't very accurate.
Well, they never were, I don't think. Because even at the doc, remember... Did we use a heart rate monitor at MBTI?
I don't.
No, we had to calculate it.
Yeah, I think we had to calculate it.
So it was it wasn't there. It was somewhere else I worked. So they're like, oh, you can do heart rate or whatever, and they gave us one of those wrist ones.
Yeah.
I'm like, these are stupid.
Right.
I can literally do this exact same thing, and I know what I'm looking for.
The chest strap one, though, when you're exercising, they're pretty accurate.
Well, yeah, it's right next to your heart. Yeah, exactly. I would hope so.
Exactly. Right. But I do remember spending significant amounts of time trying to figure out how to get it on my body so that it would stay in place.
Yeah, I can imagine that would be the hardest thing. So the best thing about all these trackers, if you have it synced up to your phone, it puts everything on your phone.
Right.
So it's okay, today's my run was terrible because I put Dr. Scholl's on my feet and they hurt the entire time. So I took them out. So my run was 4 minutes longer than it should be. But, at least you can see that. You can,
a whole 4 minutes longer?
Yeah. I was pissed because my feet were killing me. I was like, all right, this isn't bad. Okay, it's a little bit, maybe my feet are getting adjusted. Half mile, okay, it's a little uncomfortable. Okay, I'm taking these things out. I stopped, took them out of my shoes, stuffed them in my hoodie pocket, and I kept going. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. my 2 miles should be at least 5 minutes per quarter mile.
You're entering into the obsessive phase of these things. Joking. You're getting mad.
5 minute mile? Are you kidding me? I would not be working where I'd be on an Olympic team or something.
Well, right. You'd be getting sponsored by Nike
exactly.
and stuff.
Trust me, it's definitely not 5 minutes.
I actually wrote an article for Joy of Medina County magazine.
Okay.
About the pros and cons of fitness trackers.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it hasn't come out yet. It might be next month. Yeah.
Okay.
But I did a little bit of research, and a basic step tracker, this is what the research shows, can increase a user's activity level by up to 80%. So, as far as the benefits, though, it is really motivating.
It's huge benefits.
It is.
And if we're going to give some credit to fitness trackers, let's give some credit to Pokemon Go, believe it or not.
I would agree with that.
Actually, I think it was a running meme online. It said, "Oh, President Obama or Michelle Obama was trying to
Oh,
get her kids to the kids to like work out and do this, and Pokemon released their app." Or Niantic did, and then all these kids were like outside riding their bikes around, catching Pokemon,
right.
getting hit by cars.
I mean, I don't love video games or that kind of stuff, but I do think that of all the things that all the video games that have come out, I mean, that kids could be using, one that gets them up and moving around is not a bad
Yeah,
thing.
that was, and you remember when it came out? I think it was like
Yes.
3 years ago.
Yes.
On the square, it was packed.
I do remember that. I'm
I
like,
was
what are these
walking-
people doing?
I was walking a lot of miles. I was out till Johanna gave a test to you, probably like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go to the square and walk and catch Pokemon. She's like, okay. Yeah, I'd be out like super late catching.
I never actually played this game, but it's funny now. My daughter, oh my gosh, YouTube. I hate YouTube sometimes. My daughter watches other people play Pokemon Go on YouTube.
Good. So download it. I'll show you what the app looks like. We'll download it on your phone, and then you guys will
she
have
can play.
wonders
Yeah.
of fun.
Yeah, no, I don't have time for that shit. So I think like as far as like another pro would be, I don't know if this is, well, I don't know. I suppose setting reasonable goals, because a lot of people don't really know, or they totally overestimate their activity level. And you can wear a fitness tracker and you can get baseline data, right?
Yeah.
And then you can use that baseline to say, okay, if I'm only walking 4,000 steps, why don't I bump that by 1,000 per day?
Sure.
Instead of being like, I'm going to run 5 miles today.
Well, one guy was just used that Pokemon Go app. I think he lost like 50 or 60 pounds like in
Wow.
a summer, just because he was out like doing that. He's like, my doctor tells me I need to like go out and like walk and stuff, but this actually gives me like a fun reason to do it. Because if just imagine if you're, let's just say 400 pounds, your doctor needs you to lose weight. All right, I need you to go exercise. And there's no like fun way to do it. And you're just like,
Right.
okay, I have to go walk. But if you can play a game and do it,
Yes.
it makes it a little bit more enjoyable.
Absolutely. I totally agree. So, I mean, the motivational value, I think, of these fitness trackers is great. But interestingly, one of the other things I found when I was like researching this topic is that fitness trackers can cause enough guilt where you might actually be less likely to exercise if you either A, are not wearing the device, or B, like you don't feel like you met the goal. So there was a study conducted by CNN that showed that women who forgot to wear their fitness trackers were less likely to move because they felt the exercise didn't count. So there are like
It doesn't
downsides.
count. If a tree falls in the wood, doesn't anybody hear it? Apparently not.
So I mean, but it's that whole like I don't can we bleep out? Can we bleep out words? Okay, well,
just
I'll just
don't say it.
All right. Well, it's called the F-it effect.
There you go. Was that so hard?
So you miss a workout and then you're like F it for the rest of the week. I'm not going to work out.
I did that this week, but I ran. I ran this week.
So then you still worked out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and then, I think one of the other downsides is that, and this is something I've experienced personally, as I've mentioned, the tracking can become a little bit of an obsession if you're that type of personality. So, I don't know. I mean, TJ, have you found like trackers to be really beneficial to you or?
Well, I like them. I mean, if I'm not wearing them that day, it's like whatever. But I mean, it's more of just, I think it's good to have to use to kind of keep yourself accountable for the most part. But I mean, if I'm not wearing it that day, I'm not going crazy over it. I'm not really obsessed about it because I wear it anyways because it's my watch.
Right.
So it's not like I don't have it on. And if I don't have, if I take it off right now, you're going to see a mad suntan line. It's like white and then there's brown around it. So.
But it wouldn't bother you.
No.
If it didn't track your movements for a day.
No, not really. Okay. I mean, because if I'm going to go out and do something like, let's just say I'm going to go rock climbing, I'm not wearing my watch because if I fall and it smashes my watch, I'm going to be pissed.
Do you mind if I ask how much that watch was?
Oh yeah, you want to know?
Yeah, I do.
$75.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like $750 or something because the Apple phones are, like what, $1,000 a pop when they come out?
My $1,000 phone over here. Yeah.
Right. But well, that's no big deal.
Because they had a deal through work and that you got like $250 off of because they're trying to promote health and wellness through like the company. And so like I got my wife one and I'm like, oh, I just get myself one. And we got it for like $150 for both. I'm like, heck yeah. It's like less, I think it's like, how much were they? Like $400 a piece. Okay. So I mean, I saved a good chunk of money. So
that's pretty steep if you're paying the full price.
Yeah, there was no way I was going to get one unless I had a discount because it's not worth it.
Did you use anything before you had that?
Nope.
No tracker?
No, I just had a watch on. No, wait. I used Withings. Withings. I think it's called Withings. It's just like looks like a regular watch face, but it tracks your steps, your calories and stuff through, and it goes to your phone.
Okay.
So you can like swim with it and do whatever you need to do, and it'll go to your phone. So I did have that before.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, it did everything that this watch does, but this isn't like real time. I don't have to like go on my phone, sync it up, and do all that crap. It's just immediate right in front of me.
Right.
All right. So we talked a little bit about whatever those bikes are called. Peloton bikes. Good Lord, I'm terrible at that. So they have the bikes and the treadmills. So they have don't they have like they have like a TV screen on them?
Yes.
It's basically like a studio workout on your TV.
Yeah, but like as far as from what I understand about Peloton and maybe some of these treadmills that have like, it's a really nice console. They're beautiful pieces of fitness equipment, but I think to have access to the classes, you have to pay a monthly fee.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, I believe you do.
Yeah, well, $3,000 plus monthly fee, I guess. If you can afford it, go ahead, have at it.
Yeah. Absolutely. If it's motivating to you and you have the money to buy one, there's nothing wrong with that.
The one thing I did like just watching the reviews and stuff was the Peloton treadmill. Did you see how it like increased speed and decreased speed?
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. So if you don't know, there's like a knob on the side and you can literally like slap it and it'll either increase or decrease, which I thought that was sweet because like when you go to the gym at the treadmills, you have to like, you're like,
I know.
trying to get it to go down or to go up, or you have to like jump off for a second. I thought that was the coolest thing. It's like you just slap it and it goes higher or it goes lower. I think that's pretty sweet.
That's really cool because I like, I hardly ever run on my treadmill for long periods of time. I try to do interval workouts because they're shorter.
Sure.
But my treadmill is so freaking slow to speed up and slow down. So literally an interval that should last 20 seconds, it has to last like a minute and a half because it takes that long for my treadmill to get up to speed. And then I spend my 20 seconds at that interval. And then it takes another, however many seconds to get back down to
so you're doing
normal.
Like 3-minute intervals.
Yes.
3 to 3
So
ratio,
I hate it. But in the winter, I don't have the opportunity to do my intervals outside.
Yeah,
or at least I want to.
That was the one best thing about like, especially living in Ohio.
Yes.
In like a week and a half, we're gonna get snow.
Right. It's still August. Well, no, it's September 1st.
No, is it?
I believe it's September 1st. It is September 1st.
Yeah, it is September 1st.
So yes, snow next week.
Yeah, snow next week. So. What was I going to say? Yeah, I mean, if you're in Ohio and you can't get to the gym, you can do everything in your house. That's great. And I don't like running on a treadmill. I'd rather run outside.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm going to try to run in the wintertime.
Have you ever thought about
I ran in the wintertime one time.
Yeah, I've done it too. And
I ran 1 mile in shorts and I came back. I'm like, I'm freezing.
Yeah. Running in the winter sucks.
If it's only 2 miles, I can stomach through 2 miles every day. Right. But obviously, I'm going to wear a bunch of clothes.
Right.
And not go with just shorts on.
Have you ever thought about, so in the winter, I can't do long distances on the treadmill. I just burned myself out on it with the triathlon stuff. I do an interval style, so I'll do 5 minutes of running on the treadmill, and then I'll intersperse that with core, and then I'll go back to the treadmill and do 5 minutes, and then I'll do more core. And so I might go back and forth that way 4 or 5 times. And so I got a good core workout, and I got in 25 minutes of running. It was just broken into 5-minute increments.
Sure.
It seems to me that just seems so much more doable just from a mental standpoint.
Right.
So, I mean, trying to do a whole 25 or 30 minutes on the treadmill just straight up,
I think it would just be boring. You're literally looking at the same thing for 25 minutes. Well, I'm actually listening to an audiobook while I'm running.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good thing, too.
Yeah, because it's the David Goggins guy, like, runs, like, ultra marathons, and he's like, yeah, I did this, and I did this. I'm like, you're a beast. I'm barely getting through 2 miles. Let's knock it up a notch.
Can I ask, I've heard of David Goggins, but is, like, his body type, is he built like a runner?
So he went from, like, really, like, he's built. So he's not like runners are like pencil necks, basically, right?
Well, and that's what I'm asking, because what I noticed is that when I was doing triathlons and running races and stuff, the people who are really good at it, they have a specific body type.
Yeah, he's not like bulky, but I mean, he works out. So it's more of like, I'll just show you a picture, but I'll show you a picture after, so she's not like, oh, hello,
oh,
David.
God. No, but like a lot of runners are, that they're tall and they're thin.
Yeah,
like
he's
real
tall.
Thin.
He's like 6'1", I believe.
Okay.
Here, I'm gonna look it up right now while we're talking about it. But
I guess what I'm saying is that you tend to probably put on muscle pretty easy.
I'm trying to get rid of it. I'm trying to like slim it all down.
So
I want to become like functionally.
Right, and I get that.
I don't want to look like a big.
But your body type,
blob.
just like mine, is never going to be like a long distance runner.
Oh no, I don't want. No. All right. Okay. I have a picture. All right, everybody.
Oh boy.
Ready?
Okay.
Yeah, see.
He's a pretty good looking guy.
Yeah, see, I told you it was going to happen. Yeah, that might have been like 7 years ago. He looks exactly the same.
I've seen that.
I mean, if I look
before.
like that, I mean, you're built enough to where it's like, okay, you're not going to mess with me, but I also can run, so that's a good thing.
Right.
But yeah, see, that's what I want. That's where I would kind of like evolve to. But he also does like 100-mile races and stuff.
Right. Which, I mean, honestly, still he's got a heavier body type, which it's hard.
Well, I think he's like, so he's 6'1", like 195 pounds.
Wow.
So that's pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for his size and everything. All right, well, we went off track talking about a person that Kelly likes apparently. But so yeah, I've been reading those or listening to audiobooks while I run, so it's not as bad. So that kind of keeps me on track as far as at least doing it.
Yeah. I do that a lot too. I'll listen to something.
Yeah, because music is good for a while, but it's like, it's just music, man. I'd rather listen to like, grow your arsenal, so to speak. But
me too.
All right, so fitness trackers, we kind of talked about like the apps. We talked about wristwatches, chest straps, the Peloton bikes and treadmills. So if you guys have any questions around those, just message us on Facebook. Yeah, because we have a Facebook page, right?
We do.
Yeah, and we have an email. So if you have any questions or you even have experience with any of these equipments or some that we haven't, let us know. But do you have anything else to add?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good discussion. I mean, it's just definitely something that needs to be discussed because who knows? Maybe in like 5 years they're going to just shove a chip in our arm and it's just going to tell us everything we need to know.
I think that's coming.
All right, well, until next time, guys, we'll see you later.
Bye.
Hey everyone, this is TJ and
Kelly
with the Initiative Project Podcast. If you like what you heard, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any questions you'd like us to cover, please email us at initiativepodcast@gmail.com. See you next time.